What's up?
So let's get right into it, man. Last night or yesterday, it was a Fight Pass card for the UFC Fight Night in Berlin, Germany.
Yes, it
And
was.
I do not have Fight Pass. I will confess, I do not have Fight Pass. Even though they're making it more appealing, because it seems like the UFC is trying to add more and more of the smaller companies. Like I tweeted it out this past week that they are going to be airing Titan FC shows now exclusively on Fight Pass. Yeah,
right
so they're trying to build up their content there. But nevertheless, man, did you see the show? Did you get a chance to catch any of it?
You know what? I only caught. I'm gonna be honest. I only caught the main event, and that is thanks to MMAshare.com. Those guys always seem to get a video up when they can. I appreciate those guys. So thank you for that. And there's a couple of videos out there that they put up there that I missed due to unforeseen things, but kind of a pinpoint beating, wouldn't you say?
I got to tell you, if you only saw the main event, then that was all you really needed to see. Of course, yeah. I mean, and the fight that we're talking about is Joanna, Jedrzejczyk.
Yeah, there you go. I think you got it that time. I think so. Yeah.
Wow. It only took me like 6 months.
There you
versus
go.
Jessica Penne. And let me tell you something. This Joanna, she's got something. I think this lady is a star in the making.
Yes.
I don't know if you caught some of the pre-fight things that she was saying or that she did. She posted a picture on Twitter of her chowing down on some penny pasta. And then in the weigh-ins, she brought a silver medal to give to her, to give to Jessica Penne.
I didn't see the silver medal, but I saw the stare down, and she made it a point. She made it a point, to get in Jessica's face. So I knew she came to battle.
Yeah, she absolutely did, and there's something about her. And we said this last time we talked about her. Seems to me to be on a different level striking wise than a lot of the other ladies in that division.
Yeah, definitely. She is just super pinpoint accurate. Her clinch game seems strong. Her knees, her elbows. I mean, she split Jessica Penne's face open. I mean, Jessica Penne probably took more of it than she needed to. I understand benefit of the doubt and letting her go out for that third round. But God, I mean, her face was practically hamburger meat, at that point. And if she thought she was just going to beat her with just strictly jiu-jitsu, that was just not the way to go. I don't know what you're going to have to do to beat this girl, but you're going to have to be a strong wrestler. And you're gonna have to put her in an uncomfortable situation, which is on her back. I don't think I've ever seen her fight off of her back, and see how she reacts to ground and pound.
She's in her short stint in the UFC. She's defeated Claudia Gaudela, Carla Esparza, and now Jessica Penne. That's 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
She not only did she beat them, she dominated them. I mean, pretty much hands down. And, man, I can't say enough about the way that she was well-rounded. She was using the elbows. She was coming at with unorthodox type angles and kicks. And she's going to be a handful for anybody. I think, she's easily one of the most dangerous, and in the way that she's beating people, and I know Ronda has way more water under her bridge, and I mean, she just flattens people. But the way that Joanna is beating people, she's beating people up. I mean, you said it. At the end of that fight yesterday, Jessica Penne's face she looked like she needed some surgery. to help her out because it was completely beaten up.
Yeah, she was split open pretty bad, and props to her because she is tough as nails, and she's a great fighter, but she just but Joanna fought great, and that's all I can say there. I mean that pretty much says it right there. And don't forget that Joanna is she's a Muay Thai champion. So she's not scared to get in there. She's not scared to get in there and bang. And if she, it's not. I wouldn't call her style sprawl and brawl. I would call her style, sprawl and pick you apart and just damage you. And if you can take it, you're gonna get damaged. It's crazy to watch her. She's accurate. She's accurate, and you can tell it hurts when she hits. So. I don't know who they're going to give her next. I couldn't even imagine who they give her next. But whoever it is going to have to come with more than an A game to beat her.
Yeah, without question. She something else that strikes me about her is, it kills me when I see a fighter that has a decent reach fight short and not fight long.
Yeah.
And I think she fights long, and
yes, she does.
I think that there's not a lot of those fighters out there that are really utilizing their length, from in a real effective way. Some of them tend to fight short and in a box, but she does a really good job of fighting long. But yeah, I mean, as far as next up opponents, man, I mean, Tisha Torres, Rose Montejunas. Paige. I mean, those Randa Marcos. I mean, those are the names that are on the bottom half of the top 10.
Right. I don't know. Randa Marcos, I'd say no.
Yeah.
Great wrestler, but I don't see her stand up match in that game. Paige Van Zandt, real well rounded all the way around. I don't know if she's ready for that one yet, though. God, I don't know who else is there. I have Tisha Torres. I don't know. I don't know if Tisha Torres beats her either. I see Joanna holding on to this belt for a little while. I just don't see anybody who can take her out. I don't see anybody who's going to be, because granted, they got a lot of great grapplers in that weight division, but. They're not starting on the ground; they're starting standing up. So it's going to take a lot of everything to beat her.
The only other interesting matchup that I could see possibly coming her way, because I do agree with you. When you start talking about those other names, I'm just not sold that anybody's really a threat. Not at this point. Paige Van Zandt maybe down the road. But like you said, she's still kind of young in the game. Michelle Watterson.
Yeah, Michelle Watterson
joined the UFC.
Yeah.
Maybe she's someone that I don't know.
Striking wise, maybe that could but maybe pose a threat. But Michelle Watterson's got to get her feet wet a little bit first.
Yeah.
She can't just jump ahead. She's got to get through the jitters and all that good stuff, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I think so, and I think Joanna's definitely past that. She's 4 fights in, but man, just to close the book on that she's a star. They got a star there without question.
Yeah,
she you saw at the end of the fight after she won, she jumped on the cage and she's yelling out, "Who's next? Who's next?" I mean,
yep.
She's got a little bit of flair
hungry.
And she's getting it done in the ring. So.
Absolutely, man. Hey, quick shout out, man. A quick shout out to the kids who went up and did some pancration last Saturday. I'm going to give a shout out to Peyton Brooks, who at 69 pounds fought a girl who was 92 pounds. And though she lost on points, got in there and battled with her. Good job, Peyton. Way to get in there and way to get in there and scrap. Don't let anybody tell you, especially people who've never done anything in their life, what you should have done. You were awesome. And then great job to Riley and Justin Wood, who went up there to do his first amateur MMA fight, and his guy didn't get his Hep B blood test, and so he couldn't fight. Horrible situation. But yeah, that's a terrible thing, man. You train for that long, and Justin put in work. I'm going to tell you, Justin put in some work, and he got up there, and the guy didn't have his blood work done right, so the guy couldn't fight. So he only got to do a grappling match, but Justin tapped him twice in 3 minutes. So well deserved, and that's what that guy deserves. So get it right next time.
Wait a second. Let's jump back to the first fight you were talking about. So you're talking about a 60-pound person versus a 90-plus pound person. Who sanctioned that? Do I need to make a phone call to the commission up there or what?
I don't know.
What was it? Was it a strike force fight or something?
You know, it was Elite XC. It's got to be. Scott Coker was involved. I think Scott Coker, Kimbo Slice. I think all those guys were involved in this one. I mean, come on, man. They showed pictures, right? Her mom posted pictures, and I'm going, look at this. Why is that girl so big? I said, there's no way that they weigh the same. She goes, oh, yeah, we just found out. They find out later on after the fight. The girl's 92 pounds. I'm like, come on.
Wow.
I'm like, that's not even a catch weight, man. That's 22 pounds, right? So, I mean, that's yeah.
Yeah, so, that's a.
But hey, props to her, man. She got in there. She didn't back down. She got in there. And, she scrapped with the girl. But Jesus, man, first pancreation fight. Throw a kid in there with a kid that's 20 pounds heavier than she is. I mean, that's just wrong. But
that's Barry BJ Penn versus Lyoto Machida.
Exactly. That's old school, man. That's that's UFC 1. No weight divisions. Yeah. So. But hey,
craziness.
Yeah.
But you're right, man. Props to those kids for going in there and no fear, man.
Absolutely, man. It's cool to see. It's cool to see that becoming more of a competitive sport to where it's it's safe for kids to do that way. So it's kind of a cool thing. It's cool to watch. I'll post that video to the website, and y'all can see the size difference yourself. I'll share it to our Facebook Majority Decision website. Check it out.
Yeah, definitely check that out. I'm going to check that out. I remember going up there. I went up there a few times to travel. I traveled with you when you were fighting, and then another time when someone else was fighting, and they had kids fighting. And at first I was like, whoa, I don't know how I feel about that, because they're kids, right? But then once I saw it, I saw that they're protected. The rules are different, and it's safe. I mean, these kids aren't going in there and knocking each other out or breaking anybody's nose.
No, they're not even allowed. And just for listen, they're not even allowed to hit each other in the face. So I mean, they're not allowed to hit. They're not even allowed to hit each other in the face. So it sometimes it just ends up being a body and leg kick match, and it doesn't if it never goes to the ground. So it's that they try to look out for the fighters in that situation. That's awesome.
There was another fight on that card I wanted to briefly touch on, and that was the Kawajiri and Dennis Seaver fight.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure that Dennis Seaver might not be. I don't know, man. It seems like it's kind of left him.
What, Dennis Seaver?
He had a little bit. Yeah, I mean, he had a little bit of magic early on in his career in the UFC. But he's like 1-3 in his last 5.
Yeah.
I don't know. Tough fight for him. Good win for Kawajiri though.
Yeah, hey, you know what? Kawajiri's a tough guy, man. You can't take anything away from that dude. Right. So I mean, Dennis Seaver. You're right, though. I mean, Dennis Seaver, I think he's been around for a long time. I mean, it starts to wear on you after a while, I would think. He's been in some battles, so.
Yeah.
Maybe the weight cut's becoming too much for him, too. Because if you look at him, he's a pretty big guy for his size. I mean, he's a little stocky. He's a little stocky guy, so it could be anything, you know. It could be weight cut. It could be anything. He might be one of those guys who's kind of stuck in the middle. You can't go up because you're too small, but you can't, you know. But it's hard for you to make the, you know, 45 or 55, whatever he chooses to fight at, type deal. So, you know, Dennis, you know, props to Dennis Seaver for getting in there and scrapping, but he's probably on his way out, I would assume.
Yeah, I think so. 929-477-1077 to get on the conversation. Let's talk a little Bellator MMA. Of course, they had their Bellator 138 this past week, and
they had an Elite XC class reunion, from what I heard.
They did. The question here is, you know, do we want to discuss what was wrong with the card? Would that be more of a conversation than what was right with the card?
I tell you what, you start by telling me what do you think was wrong with the card.
Well, first of all, Kimbo Slice and Ken Shamrock on top of a title fight, I just have a fundamental problem with that. I have a fundamental problem with any card that doesn't feature a title fight going on last. And I know Strikeforce did it, Elite XC did it, and all of those guys did it. But to me, if you're a company and your belt, and you're trying to tell me as a fan that this belt means something, that's your main event every time.
Right. No, I mean, I would have to agree with you on that. You know, and all those other organizations you mentioned all have one guy who in common. And, first name Scott, last name Coker. I don't know why he does that. I don't know what his deal is with that. It's, you know, somebody needs to tell him we're past the spectacle days, right?
Yeah.
It's you know, it's like you said, it's a title, make it legitimate, make it the main event, you know, don't build, you know, great for Ken Shamrock, man, the guy's a legend, but he's 51. We all knew what was going to happen, okay? Kimbo Slice, I mean, you know, you're talking about a guy who, you know, fought street bums in the backyard, you know, before he got into a cage, and then when he got to real competition in the UFC, he couldn't handle it, so... You know, everybody wants to see somebody get knocked out, but for a real MMA fan or a real fight fan, man, that's just not main event material. I don't think so.
No, it's not at all, and that brings me to my second thing that's wrong with the card, and that is that you basically have 41-year-old Kimbo Slice versus 51 or 52-year-old Ken Shamrock. Both men haven't even fought in mixed martial arts in 5 years, and I know that they're both names. And that's fine, you know, if you want to have a fight like that on your card, I guess. But, I mean, come on. I mean, he's 52, man.
Yeah.
He's 52. I mean, I mean, look, I'm not trying to take anything away from him because, you know, for him to go out and train and put in the work, because he clearly did, to get in there and fight, I mean, props to both those guys. But, I mean, come on. Is there no shame here? You know, I mean, like you said, we knew what was going to happen.
Yeah, we knew it was going to happen. The last few times Ken Shamrock fought, he couldn't take a hit. Right? I mean, we knew it was going to happen. If one landed, we knew Kimbo Slice had a puncher's chance. I mean, and I just couldn't. I mean, you know, if I'm Scott Cogan, I'm trying to build Bellator, right? So people watch it as much as they're watching the UFC or any other event. Right, you're trying to promote the fighters in the organization, not not hire on backyard street fights. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? I don't know. Maybe that came out the wrong way, but
it does. I mean, you know, they can't build their card on Kimbo. I mean, they can't build their company on Kimbo Slice. Kimbo Slice shelf life is short. Ken Shamrock doesn't need to fight again.
Pitbull, all those guys you got out there already, man. You know,
absolutely. Absolutely.
Right? That's why they keep signing with you guys, right? Because you're paying them, but at the end of the day, I would think that there's a conversation in there that you're feeding them that, hey, we're trying to grow this. You know, we want you guys to help us grow it. Well, how are they going to grow it if you're putting, if you're putting, lackluster fights as the main event, man. I saw highlights of that fight. I didn't even watch it. I didn't watch it.
The fight went so oddly to the point that people were questioning whether or not it was fixed.
Oh,
and
really?
Look, if people, yeah, I mean, there were. I was reading on some of the articles, and you hit the comments, and there's always trolls. But I mean, there were multiple page debates on whether or not this was a fixed fight, because at one point Shamrock had Kimbo in a rear naked choke and had him flattened out and couldn't finish the choke. I mean, I've rolled with older guys, and I've been choked out by older guys. I mean, it's hard. It's hard for me to believe that he couldn't finish that choke. But do I think the fight was fixed? No, I don't think so.
Did they stand him up? Is that why he couldn't finish the choke?
He had it. He had it under the chin. Instead of, to me, what I saw, instead of putting his top hand behind his head, he put it on his forehead like he was trying to do a WWE sleeper. And Kimbo looked like he was about to tap a few times, but he's such a strong guy. He got hold of his hand and eventually fought out of it. I mean, Ken Shamrock's supposed to be a submission fighter, and he can't even finish a rear naked choke. I mean,
right. You're talking about a guy who's been doing that his whole life,
Yeah.
So, that kind of surprises me too. But I don't know if you remember back to when Kimbo first came around, right? If any fighter would ever take him down and start beating on him, right, eventually the ref would find a reason to stand it back up so Kimbo could have a swinging chance and land a haymaker. And I think that's why when he finally made it, to a bigger show like the UFC, he didn't make it because they didn't bill it that way. The refs weren't told, hey, look, they take Kimbo down, just make sure he somehow is able to get back up, right? So, and it was obvious back then. It was obvious back then. That's why I was so glad when, he got stuffed with a jab and knocked out. So, I feel bad for all the other guys on the Bellator card. You know what I mean? Because they can't build themselves if they have to be shadowed to guys who don't even really fight anymore. You can't grow the sport that way.
Yeah, well, and you know what the rumor is now? The rumor fight is now? Ken Shamrock versus Royce Gracie. Really? I mean,
wow.
Are you just going to go ahead and make a senior division? I mean, you might as well.
Man, you know what? I might watch that fight. I'd watch that fight. I'd watch that fight because it was Royce, and it was those two in the beginning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would watch that, but that's the only reason why I'd watch that fight. I would actually watch that fight, because it would probably become a grappling match, and it might be pretty interesting. I don't see a lot of striking going on in that fight. But I had no interest in watching Kimbo slice, throw haymakers till Ken Shamrock fell over. I just didn't want to watch it. So, but hey.
And not to totally beat Kimbo Slice down, but it was funny. I read like a tweet. When he came out, how Bellator does now since Coker's taken over. They got the elaborate entrances and the screens and all that.
Yeah.
That's just his deal. So that they got 305, I guess, which is the zip code of where he's from, or the area code. And it was like 305. Is this the area code or is that his weight? Because Kimbo Slice, without question, looked soft in the midsection. Yeah, I mean, 3 or 4 years ago, the guy looked like he was in tip-top shape. For this fight, not so much. But for all of the things that's wrong with Bellator, let me jump on to something that I think they're about to do and that they're about to get right. And that is this. They are going to have a one-night, 4-man tournament.
Oh, that would
Listen
be
to
cool.
this lineup.
They haven't see something like that.
And
yeah.
the lineup is going to make you even more excited about it because it's a great lineup of 4 guys. They haven't announced the brackets yet, I don't believe, but you got Kimbo, you got Phil Davis, you got Emmanuel Newton, you got Linton Vassell, and that's the 4 guys. And the winner of the tournament is going to face the winner of Liam McGeary, the current champ of that division, and he's going to defend the belt against Tito Ortiz. So for all that they did wrong at 138, whatever this card is going to be, that they're doing it right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That tournament on one night, that's going to be awesome. That's going to be a great show to watch right there. You know, we missed that format. I think the commission will only do it that way. It'll only let you fight so many rounds in the night. So, so I don't know, how do they do that? Do they make the first fight 2 rounds and the last one 3? I think you can only fight 5 in the night. Is that right?
I'm not 100% certain on that. It's coming up pretty quickly though. It's going to be at they're planning it for 141. So
nice.
Just a few months away. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be awesome.
But I'm excited for that. I think that's I thought that Bellator should have kept the tournament format in some form to begin with, even though they were spreading it out, not even doing it one night, because I felt like that separated them from the UFC. Yeah. So I'm excited to see a one-night tournament on a big stage like
definitely.
that. I think it's going to be awesome.
I agree with you, man. That would be awesome. That's I liked the tournament format when they did it all in one show. When they used to have it back in the day. So I think the tournament format's just gonna. I think it'll boost them a little bit more, like you said, kind of brand them differently. That's something they do need to stick with.
But so good things for Bellator. We want them to succeed. We don't want. I guess as a fan, as someone who's been a fan and such a hardcore fan, you don't want to see a company give anybody any reason to call bogus, to call it fake, to say, okay, this is just went from real to WWE. So anytime I kind of see something like that, just kind of, it's disappointing. The guy's got to be better than that. Scott Coker's got to be better than that as a promoter.
Yeah. He's been in the game a while. He needs to. Absolutely. Definitely. Who's next?
We've got next week we've got an interesting main event as we're closing in on 1 minute. We got Fight Night, and it's going to be Lyoto Machida against Yoel Romero.
We love you, Lyoto Machida. We love you, the king of the stool. That's right. The king of the stool and knocking out after the stool. I didn't understand what he was saying. I thought I could take the extra 2 seconds on the bar stool. All right, cool. I didn't know what I was.
We're coming up. That's what we got coming up next week. We'll be breaking it down for you right here at 10 o'clock on Blog Talk Radio.
Yes, we will.
Majority decision. Don't forget to let somebody know that you like the show and that it's a good show. Download us on Apple iTunes, on Podbean as part of the Offshoots Network.
That's right.
I'm your host, Greg the Truth. He is the Black Belt. Happy Father's Day, everyone. Have a great week.
Happy Father's
Day.
Here.